Greetings from New Jerusalem, 777. Today I'm just here. I want to do some videos, and I want to talk about some things, that I've been looking up and doing research on. And I know in my last videos, I did videos about Harold Camping, the false prophet who falsely predicted the rapture, the second coming of Christ, and the destruction of the world, and the wicked. And I did that about a week ago, and I was saying how sad and disgusting it is, and stuff like that. And I was just talking about the problems of false prophesying, and false teachers and false, the false doctrines out there. Okay. But today I want to talk about something that's more concerning to me, or I wouldn't say more concerning. Well, actually it is. Actually it is, because it all ties in. It all ties in very fittingly. Okay, and what I mean by that is it's regarding a subject that is widespread. It's so widespread, okay, that we all have been involved in it one way or another. Okay, we all have had our part in it. Okay, and the area that I want to talk about basically is witchcraft today. Now I'm going to be doing some videos regarding this area alone, and it may not all be today, because there might just be random videos talking about it as I'm finding out more stuff about it. Right now, I have a lot of resources about it right now, and I'm not just talking about witchcraft like Sabrina the Teenage Witch, or The Craft, or Harry Potter, and all these other witchcraft movies and witchcraft television shows and witchcraft books. But that is a part of it too as well. But what I would like to talk about is far deeper than Harry Potter and all these television programs, even though they go deep as well. But something that is far more sinister and far more deeper. And what it is it deals with drugs. Okay, the usage of drugs. Okay, and I will get into what I mean by that in a minute. Now, I'm not just talking about street drugs like crack cocaine and marijuana, and marijuana, if used the right way, can actually be used for good if you use it for medicinal purposes. But marijuana is included because there's a lot of people that's using it the wrong way too. But anyway, um, I'm talking about more so. I'm talking about pharmaceutical drugs, especially like psychotropic drugs and drugs that are used for killing pain and different various ailments that we suffer every day. Okay, now I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna tell you a little story about myself. I'm not gonna get into it too long. I remember years ago, I was diagnosed with a mental problem, or a couple of mental problems and stuff like that. I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and manic depression. Well, first it was manic depressive disorder, and then it was bipolar as well. Okay, and bipolar became more of a mainstream name because it used to be manic depressive and all that. And I was prescribed some pills to try to address the chemical imbalances that I might have had in my brain and all that. That's what they said. Okay, and I believed it. I brought into it. And I was one of those patients that took my pills religiously every day, as told by the psychiatrist, the doctor. He's a psych doctor, and that can prescribe pills to people. And um, at first, when I was taking these drugs, when I was taking these pharmaceutical psychotropic drugs, at first it seemed like it was helping me out with my depression and my manic depressive disorder. Like I would have the ups and downs, and the downs would be so bad. At first it seemed like it would help address these problems, and I took more than more than one type of drugs. Okay, and because the reason why I took more than one is because they said that the main pill, the main drugs for the main problem, was to address the problem itself. But the reason why I was taking like maybe one or two more other pills, okay, or other drugs, was because to counteract with the primary drug. Like the secondary drug was to counteract with the problems, like just make sure that it counteracts with the side effects, that as they call it, of the primary drugs. And the third drug maybe was to counteract with the secondary drug, the effects and stuff of that. Well, first of all, I don't call them side effects anymore. I used to buy that terminology. But I did for a while, and after a while, I come to find out that, these drugs weren't really helping me, really. I mean, it seemed like, I was still on it, but I just, my mind was still open enough to know there's something wrong with this. And I couldn't quite put my finger on it that much. So, I continued taking these pills as directed by the doctor. And I noticed over time they would increase my dosage level. Like, let's just say that I go in there and I have problems. I talk about my problems, like, oh, I can't sleep at night, or I'm having this problem. I'm having thoughts about hurting myself or hurting other people, or whatever, whatever the reasons are. And I would go in there, they would either up my dosage on the drugs that I'm already taking, or they would change the drugs, and I would take other drugs. And some of the drugs that I was taking was like lithium, Paxil, and Prozac, and a lot. I took like several different types of psychotropic drugs, and and I was amazed that I got through to that. But I was doing that for a while, and after a while I just come to find out that that what, I don't want this anymore. So my mind was kind of blurred, but I still had a little light in it that said, well, I don't want to be on these drugs for the rest of my life, because I was told that I was going to be on these for the rest of my life, because I need them. If I didn't get them for the rest of my life, then I would have problems. I would have emotional problems. I would have mental problems and stuff like that are worse, and I might do some worse things. Well, it's been years ago since I've been on those medications and stuff, but I just want to give you a little story. So I did something that I would not recommend anybody to do, really, or not too many people to do, hardly nobody to do. I went cold turkey on those. I just, one day I decided that I will not take these pills anymore. I stopped taking them. I didn't go through the doctor. Yes, of course, the doctor got really upset with me. But I told the doctor, I said, look, they weren't helping me, and I stopped taking them. So I say, look, we all go through problems in life, okay? So I don't think pills are going to help me out here, okay? Because I need to learn how to deal with my problems in a different way without taking pills. There is no such thing as magic pills. So I took these. I stopped taking them. So however, I don't recommend too many people doing that. What I do recommend is, if you want to get off these pills, you have to slowly wean off of them, okay? Because if you just go cold turkey, it can actually it can actually cause worse problems, So I wouldn't recommend that kind of stuff. So so I wouldn't do that if I was you. But anyway, I wanted to give you a little bit of my story. I did have some problems when I did go cold turkey, and I did have some shaky feelings, or shakiness, and some physical bodily reactions, and some emotional reactions. But I got through it, thank God. And I'm a born again Christian, and I just want to let you know that I thank the Lord that I got off those pills, because like I said, I was being slowly poisoned. And I was realizing this after a while, that I was being poisoned by these pills, so I stopped taking them and stuff like that. So that's my story right there. I'm not going to get into too much anymore. But what I come to find out, I did my research, and I was finding out some of the pills that I was taking, and I was just so appalled, because I'm like, wait a minute, there's people that taking these, they were on the same medications, like some of these people that did some mass murdering and did some horrible things, did some horrendous things, took some of the same pills that I was taking. And I wonder about that. It's like, how did it miss me? There's something missing here. I mean, how did I not become a mass murderer or something like that? I mean, I don't know. It was just something weird about that. And I was like, well, I guess everybody reacts differently. So I'm hearing that Paxil is one of the strongest ones out there. And I think, well, you know, people being prescribed these medications, they, if you're thinking about going on any of these medications because you have problems or whatever, I would suggest you do research first before you do so, because actually you might be placing yourself in a more compromised position, and I just want to let you know that you don't want to do that. So I will first do some research about these matters, because there's those psychotropic medications are very strong, and from what I've been researching, they're a lot stronger than even the street drugs. Now, they call them gateway drugs, and what that means is these drugs are likely will lead you to the so-called stronger drugs, the street drugs, the illegal drugs. But from what I'm hearing, I don't believe they're just gateway drugs. I believe they're more than gateway drugs. I believe they're much more addictive than the street drugs are. I mean, because people think that because a doctor gives them these pills, is prescribed by a qualified professional, that these drugs are relatively safe as long as it's prescribed in a controlled environment. Okay, well, I'm sorry to tell you this. That's not the case. These are not just gateway drugs. These are truly narcotic, addictive drugs. Okay, and even on the bottle it says narcotics. Okay, so actually these drugs do the same things that crack and cocaine did. So I might as well have been doing that, because I might as well have smoked crack or something, or cocaine, if these drugs are stronger than that. And that's what I'm saying. The pharmaceutical companies, they come out with new pills, and then on top of that, they prescribe in children these same drugs that adults are taking, and and even as young as 3 years old, because these kids are overactive, and they want to calm these kids down, whatever. So that's what the case is. So those are some dangerous things, for kids. And if they're dangerous for adults, they're far more dangerous for children. So that's what I wanted to say. But anyway, I'm gonna get back to what I was going to talk about and get off my story. Okay, now I did some research, and I did more further research on regarding this matter. And anyway, I'm gonna stop this video for right now, and I'll do another one sometime. I don't know if it'll be today or tomorrow, whatever. But I just want to let you know that this is a subject matter that is really serious and deeper than just witchcraft or what you watch on the movies. Okay, take care. Thanks for watching.